So we see ahead. What do you see coming?
Well, let's take each of the indictments. So I think that the best case scenario, let me put it this way, best case and worst case scenario. The best case scenario, the New York indictment by Alvin Bragg, who ran on a promise to indict Trump, that gets dismissed because he's trying to force a federal law in state court, and it's just not going to pass muster. So I think that gets tossed.
Wow.
It's not just a best case scenario. It's probably likely that that'll get tossed.
Amazing.
Let's go to Miami with the documents case.
Oh, God.
There, you're going to see some very serious procedural motions that could also result in the indictment being tossed because of all this Mickey Mouse stuff that Jack Smith is doing with the grand jury. He has a grand jury meeting in Washington, D.C., but then bringing charges in Miami. You can't do that. He's doing that to get around the fact that people in Miami are a little more politically balanced. It's more of an even state than they would be in D.C., where 9 out of 10 jurors are going to be Democrats who hate Donald Trump. And that's how they got through attorney-client privilege. They were able to get rid of attorney-client privilege to look at Trump's statements to his attorney, normally not allowed at all, but Jack Smith did it in D.C. You might see the case tossed because of that. You might see the case tossed because of an apparent attempt to extort one of the co-defendants. And the lawyer for the co-defendant was allegedly offered a position on the bench if he got his client to play ball, which is probably illegal. And if that's found to have happened, then you could have the lead investigator at the Justice Department charged with obstruction of justice himself, because it's such an irregular thing to do. So you could see some kind of procedural motion that just kills the case in Florida. Also, the fact that the Presidential Records Act was not even mentioned in the indictment, and it arguably covers Trump's conduct. He thought he was complying with the law rather than violating the law. So I think there's some reason to believe that the Miami case is also vulnerable.
Have they ever shown that he stole these documents to sell them to foreign governments? I mean, that was the implication the first day. He was holding on to them to sell them or to do something against America. What?
He never stole the documents. He never sold the documents. And this is also really important. He never destroyed the documents. Hillary Clinton destroyed federal documents that she had no right even to have. And there's another interesting fact. The January 6th committee, which investigated Trump and was told by Kevin McCarthy last year to preserve all their documents so that the next incoming Republican Congress could use them, they destroyed their documents.
Unreal. I know. I saw that. That kangaroo court infuriated me while it was.
What Trump is, they've done something worse than what Trump is alleged to have done. They've actually destroyed evidence. It also impacts his criminal trials because Trump, in the January 6th case, has the right to any evidence that might assist him in his defense, including especially official records. But the Democrats destroyed records. What they did was they said to McCarthy and to the other Republicans afterwards was, well, we destroyed things that we didn't find were useful to us. By useful, they meant we destroyed things that didn't support our case.
Right.
The evidence that exonerated Trump or may have exonerated Trump. And so I think there are going to be problems in the DC case as well because of this destruction of evidence. Now, DC is a problem only because the judge is terrible. She's a Barack Obama appointee and donor, by the way. She donated to Obama Biden back in 2008, 2009. And she has already placed limits on what Trump can say about the case. She's already opined in other cases that Trump should be in jail. So how can you have a judge who already thinks Trump should be in prison presiding over this case? So I think that they're going to run into a problem with the venue there. I don't know if Trump will actually be jailed. Maybe there'll be some kind of appeals, but I think the chances of conviction are very high in DC, only because Jack Smith's got this friendly judge, friendly jury, and they're going to find a way to get it done that way.
But then Trump will appeal it to the Supreme Court, won't he?
He will, but she could order him to prison. And she's already suggested that she might if he tweets or posts that she doesn't like, because she conditions of his pre-trial release are that he doesn't say anything about witnesses. He can't even tweet about evidence in the case. So, he's really in a tight spot there, and it's totally unjust and unjustified. But he could end up in prison even if he's not convicted as part of pre-trial.
So they're railroading him. We know that, Joel. Come on, they're railroading him on every different level, state, federal, you name it, in the press.
Yeah,
so
but
at the end of the day, is he going to get out of this?
Here's how I envision things happening at the end of the day. The likeliest outcome right now, if the election were to be held today, Trump is leading in the polls. So the likeliest outcome is they will get him into prison somehow. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. I think they're going to get him into prison.
Oh my God.
I would attach a 40% chance to this, but it's not probable because it's not greater than 50%, but it's the likeliest of all the outcomes. And there are a lot of different outcomes. But let me just say a 40% chance. Trump is in prison wins the election from prison. The Chief Justice walks to the prison, administers the oath of office, whereupon Trump pardons himself and walks to the front door.
Oh my God, Joe.
If that happens, I mean, I can already see it. I can see it like a march down Pennsylvania Avenue to the DC court or the DC jail or wherever. And, hundreds of thousands of people there for Trump's inaugural, marching behind the Chief Justice, plenty of security and that kind of thing, Secret Service. And the Chief Justice goes into the prison and Trump takes the oath on the Bible, collects his things, puts on a suit and walks out.